Hello. In three places, the Torah relates to an Eved Ivri. The first is in our Parashat Mishpatim, and we'll talk about that soon. The second is in Parashat Behar, in Chumash Vayikra, and there the Torah says, really, he's not a slave, he's not an Eved. The Eved Ivri is sold to you, but you don't own him. You have to treat him as an employee. You have to pay him by the year. Every year you have to pay him according to that year, how much he worked for you. That's it. An employee, year by year. Why? Because all Jews are Avdei Hashem, Libnei Israel Avadim. Everyone belongs to Hashem, and therefore it doesn't belong to another person. They're not sold as slaves. That's it. In Parashat, in Re'eh, in Chumash Dvarim, it says something else. It's saying, when a Jewish person is sold to you, so first of all, it refers to him as your brother. And it's telling the person who buys the slave, remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and then you have to release him at the end of the 7th year. You have an obligation to treat this person in a nice way, the same way you wanted to be treated nicely in Egypt, and the way Hashem let you go from Egypt. You have to free this person that you bought because of this feeling, this emotion of a connection to your fellow Jew. That's in Parashat Re'eh. What's in our parasha? In our parasha, it doesn't explain anything about the fact that the slave is an Eved Hashem and therefore he can't be sold. On the contrary, it says, Ki tikne Eved Ivri. It doesn't say that he's your brother. The idea of brotherhood, of this relationship, isn't emphasized at all. And you don't have to let him go because of your nice feelings towards this person, because you don't let him go. He's released automatically in our parasha. It doesn't say that you have to send him away. It says, Uvashvit yetze lachofshi chinam. He is freed automatically. And what is the message that what we learn from here? Yes, the Torah cares about the Ivri, and it wants to set him free after the end of 6 years. It doesn't explain why. It doesn't explain the theological ideas behind it. It doesn't connect it to Yetziat Mitzrayim. It's saying something that the Torah wants him set free at the end of 6 years. The owner can say, I bought a slave. That's what it even says in the Pasuk. Ki tikne Eved Ivri. And the Torah tells us, yes, you bought a slave. But you have to realize that the rules of what ownership is defined by the rulings of the Torah. And if the Torah wants to protect this Ivri and help him move on in his life to another place, you can't stop it. The Torah is what's in charge of your ownership. He is automatically doesn't belong to you anymore. Your ownership is limited. We see that in different parashot in the Torah. We see that, for example, in Shnat Shemitah that we had not long ago. Or some people also have fruit in their garden that whether they want to or not, according to most opinions in halakha, it's automatically hefker. Why is this? The Torah tells us our ownership is limited. And owning another Jew, the Torah says, that will not happen. You cannot own him for more than a limited amount of time. And this is an interesting and important way of how we look at our possessions. Our possessions are ours because they've been granted to us by Hashem, by the Torah. When Hashem doesn't want to, our possessions will not be ours anymore. Just like that. Meaning what we possess, what we own, is not completely ours the way we usually understand the meaning of mine, but rather it's been given to me and I can keep it. But when Hashem decides that my belongings are not mine anymore, uvashvi'it yetze lachofshi chinam. Shabbat Shalom.